That feeling of waking up early in the morning to play with new tech that you bought is just so unbeatable. Today I am building my first all-white PC, and this build isn't my most expensive, but it's definitely the first time I prioritized getting parts that I needed and not what people say you should get. For the motherboard, I went with the MSI Z790 DDR5 board, which includes Wi-Fi 7 as well. And I'm pairing that up with the i5 14600K, which I got for a solid deal, and I think it's perfect for my needs in terms of playing games and video editing. This is like the 10th build that I've done since I was 16 years old, and it is still so nerve-wracking to sit the CPU into the socket. I got a 1TB SSD to add to this build, and it might be the only regret that I have of this build because games just take up way too much space now. I feel like a minimum of 2 TB is necessary at this point. Don't forget to pull the plastic off the heatsink. We're going to pair this build with 32 gigs of G.Skill DDR5 Ram. I gotta show off the Grogu slippers any chance that I get. For the case, I went with the Height Y40, and since this build is so focused on aesthetics, I also paired it with some Lee & Infinity fans. Fan orientation is so important when building a PC for proper airflow, and as you're going to see here in a second, I almost messed it up on my own build just by not paying attention. I also went with the Lee & Trinity to match the fans that I have. And I switched the AIO interface to give it that infinity mirror look, as you'll see towards the end of the build. And this is where I messed up on that fan orientation. I almost had no intake fans in this entire build, which would have been a big problem. This 750 watt power supply is enough to handle my build, and it also gives me a little wiggle room if I ever want to upgrade in the future. This is the Gigabyte White 4060, and it might have had me just a little bit mesmerized.
Beautiful card, beautiful. I've never had an all-white card. This actually looks amazing, I cannot lie.
And let me just go ahead and say this, because I'm sure there's somebody in the comments typing out as I speak, you shouldn't have gotten a 4060, it's a bad deal. And I will say this, a 4060 at MSRP of $399 is a terrible deal. I got my 4060 though for almost $200, so $200 cheaper than the MSRP price, which to me isn't a bad deal. In terms of the 4060, the performance of it is solid. It's just where it's priced at that makes it a bad deal. So if you can get it cheap like I did, it's really not that bad. Also note that I needed an all-white card for this all-white build, so anything that wasn't white was just not going to work for me, and also white is just way more expensive, so $200 for this white 4060 is an absolute steal. All these years of building and I still suck at cable management. I don't know what I gotta do to get better. I'm practicing it, but it's just hard, especially when I have cable extensions and fan hubs. I just have a lot going on in the back of my case. It's hard when you love tech so much because you always think you got to have the newest and best things in order to be happy or satisfied. In reality, that's just not true. This 4060 build with the 14600K has been honestly perfect for me, and it's really humbling to know that I don't have to have the best in order to be satisfied. I've been able to play at 1440p on all of my games with no issues. Everything runs smooth, and yes, that 1440p may not always be max settings. For example, in Ghost of Tsushima, I run it at high settings, but high settings 1440p and still getting 80 FPS is just absolutely unbelievable for a 4060, a card that's advertised at 1080p. Same thing applies for Apex at 1440p high settings. I'm getting over 144 FPS, so you don't have to have the best to be satisfied. And I can't forget that every video that I have uploaded on this channel within the past month has been on this PC build. The 4060 and the 14600K has been very solid for me, and for under $1,100 spent, I can't be too mad at that. In the end, there will always be something bigger and better out there on the tech market, so find something that fits your needs and stick with it and be happy with what you have. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to drop a like on it for me, sub if you want to see more, and I hope you guys have a good one.